So originally today's video was going to be both a Bakugou and Kirishima video, but Kind Master is not so kind and says that I do not have enough storage, even though I have enough storage. But this episode is for anyone who people are calling overweight. Frankly, I don't like that term of overweight, so this is a Bakugou X shy, chubby female listener. So I hope you guys enjoy. Now let's get going. You did good out there, Bakugou. Yin gave a small smile as she gives the blonde a thumbs up. Bakugou had just gotten done with his match against Tokiyami, winning against him, and Yin was so proud of her boyfriend that she was cheering for him the whole time, which surprised the rest of the Baku squad. Yes, she was a part of the Baku squad, even though she didn't talk a whole lot. She enjoyed hanging out with the loud group, especially Mina. The girls always seemed to get along and hang out together. The only problem, though, with her being in the group is that nobody knew about her and Bakugou. So she had to try her hardest not to be so affectionate towards him when others were around, which she didn't mind much. She didn't really like it, but she wasn't going to say that to Bakugou, even if she was his girlfriend. She still has some fear towards him and his quirk. Bakugou is usually never mean to Yin, though. Even though others are around, he will make smart comments towards her, but that was normal thing he would do all the time. Whatever. He walked over and sat by her, eyeing the arena in front of him. He had his arms crossed and his eyes lowered. The idiot was easier to beat than I thought, so it wasn't much of a fight. Yen gave a small smile as she looked away, back towards the arena, ready to watch more. She let out a sigh as she knew Bakugou was upset with his fight. He usually was cocky and thought so highly of himself and his quirk when it came to combat, but Yin knew that he wasn't too happy with his performance. But Yin would put up a fight against you, Bakugou. Dinky gave a smile as he leaned over, looking at the blonde. Sero followed behind his. His head peeked out and he waved his hands. Yin's sweat dropped as she didn't want to be brought into this. In all honesty, Yin has a powerful quirk, and it could last for quite a bit of time, but she never liked to use it. It usually drew too much attention towards her. Yeah, her quirk would be pretty defensive against yours since earth beats fire and... Shut up. Shut up, you soy sauce, Bakugou seemed to growl as he glared at the jet-haired boy. Both boys seemed to draw back as they were fearful of the explosion head. Yen's quirk is great and all, but mine's better. He looked down at Yen, who seemed to be watching the matches, ignoring him and the others. She had heard some of the conversation, but after Bakugou seemed to talk more and more, she watched the next match with great intention. Truth be told, Yin made it past the cavalry battle, but she decided to back out, not wanting to be out in the center of attention. Bakugou told her she shouldn't have, since he agrees that her quirk is almost as great as his, but supported her decision nonetheless. I'm gonna go get something to drink. Wanna come, Yin? You look like you're going to pass out from the heat. Bakugou seated as he stood up from his seat. He looked down at the hair-colored girl, who looked up at him with some surprise, slightly nodding and bit her lip, standing up. Everyone looked at the two with some suspicion, but brushed it off, thinking the two wouldn't match. But boy, were they wrong. All right, Bakugou, she muttered as she followed beside the blonde, walking to who knows where. He just wanted to get away from everyone back there. When they were far enough away, he sighed and drew an arm over Yin's shoulder. She leaned into his touch, as she was happy that she could be affectionate now. There was some comfortable silence as they walked down the long halls, until Bakugou spoke. You know, you shouldn't have backed out of the combat portion of the sports festival. He looked down at the girl with a genuine smile stuck to his lips. There was a pause as the girl struggled, looking up at him and then forward at the ground. I know, it's just... She closed her eyes. Letting out a sigh, she looked up at Bakugou, a small frown on her face. What if I screw up while I was out there? Everyone would laugh. She bit her lip again, something she did when she was in thought usually. Bakugou thought of the little things as cute. As he stared at her lips, then at her eye-colored eyes. He watched as she faced towards and felt her lean towards him as her head fell onto his shoulders. This caused him to smile to himself and leaned down to kiss her head. He squeezed her slightly as he chuckled. Nobody would ever laugh at you. They got me to worry about if they do. He gave his famous cocky smile as he stuck a hand out in front of them, giving off a small explosion. The girl giggled as his actions, and both stopped walking, knowing that they were getting closer to the stands and held their friends. Even though there were times like this where they didn't talk much, they enjoyed every second of it. Bakugou always enjoyed Yin's comforting touch and hugs, which she was one for hugs. Sorry for not. He also loved to watch her eyes as they lit up every time they went out somewhere, or when she was surprised or happy. They brought him so much happiness. And then there was her smile, her beautiful, cute smile that he loved so much. He tried everything to get her to smile, jokes, story, music, and even dancing sometimes. It wasn't usual for him to dance with her when they were alone together. He was one for being classy with Yin, which is one of the reasons why they kept their relationship a secret. Thank you, Katsuki. She smiled at him as he held her hand in his. He leaned down and gave her a small, gentle kiss, afraid that he might break her if he was too hard. They stayed like this for a few seconds before he pulled apart, leaving the girl smiling again. You're welcome, Yin, he said in a calm tone. He usually was calm around Yin for the most part. There were times where she would accidentally get him into an angry, yet hilarious state. She always found it funny when Bakugou gets mad at her, because she knows he doesn't mean it. So the two stood there, hand in hand, smiling at each other. They both kept silent as they started to walk back to the stands, but before they could take one step forward, they saw their entire class standing before them, frozen in spot. Yin instantly tensed up, not liking all the eyes on her and Bakugou. They both sweat dropped and stared at the class in silence. That was until most of the girls broke out the silence. I knew you two were dating! Wasn't this story sweet? I thought it was really cute when I first read this story, so I hope you guys enjoyed. But hopefully I'll try and get that Bakugou and Kirishima episode I'll try to, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye, lovelies.